is Andrea, and I'm a qualified aromatherapist at the Gold Coast. I am here today to talk to you about aromatherapy. Aromatherapy is a very ancient way of treating people. There are records that have been found that are thousands of years old, from old Indian civilizations, from ancient Greece and from Arabia. But the first time that it was actually mentioned to be in therapeutic use was in the year 4500 BC in ancient Egypt. The Egyptians then were a very advanced civilization. They used aromatherapy in many other ways as well. For once, they used aromatherapy in religion. They would burn herbs and offer them to the gods. They would use aromatherapy in all sorts of ceremonies. Aromatherapy was very widespread. Then it was used in beauty treatments. It was believed that aromatherapy, the beautiful smells of aromatherapy, actually enhances beauty. And Cleopatra, whichever way you want to call her, she was a big believer in aromatherapy. She would soak the sails of her ships in rose oil, and when she traveled up the Nile, people would smell the scent. They would pick up the scent of roses long before Cleopatra even came in sight. There was also a perfume around that time in ancient Egypt, which was used almost a bit like a drug. It was made of, I'm not sure, about 16 different oils blended together, and it was a real happy maker. It would cheer people up and would make them happy, almost a bit like getting drunk. But it allowed them to stay alert and responsive. Then, of course, the aromatherapy was used in embalming to preserve bodies. The kings, all those ancient kings, to preserve their bodies, they would use aromatherapy. They would use all the oils and herbs. Myrrh has been found. When they opened an old tomb, they found myrrh still present, its scent still present in an old grave. But where do the oils come from? The essential oils are actually all plant matter. They all come from different parts of the plant, depending on where the plant actually stores the essential oil. It could be in the flower, it could be in leaves, it could be in bark, resin, in the wood, in the roots, the entire plant, or maybe just the fruit peel. And there's different ways of getting the oil actually out of those plants. There is, for example, expression, which is almost just squeezing it out. Then there's distillation. That's a process of boiling the plants and work with that. Then the steam is cooled down, and it's a whole process that is being done. Then there is effleurage. With that process would probably be the most time consuming and most expensive one. That involves putting plants or flowers into fat, and the fat would soak the essential oils out of the flower, and that process then would need to be repeated and refined. It's very, very time consuming, and oils that are extracted by effleurage, they are usually very, very expensive, exactly because of that. The process is so difficult. But once the oil is extracted from the plant, they are extremely beneficial. And it's not only that it makes one feel good, and it makes one feel beautiful the way they thought in ancient Egypt, but there is also a really therapeutic benefit to it. The therapeutic benefit, we call that medical aromatherapy. Every oil contains all many different properties, many chemical properties, and they provide many different ways of assisting in healing, like wound healing, or to reduce fever or skin problems, varicose veins, hay fever, menstrual problems, and so on. But what they also believe in medical aromatherapy is that because it's coming from a plant, the life energy, the vibrations of the plant is actually carried forward to the oil. So the oil still is a living matter, so to speak, and that allows the healing on a person. Holistic aromatherapy is one step up from that. Holistic aromatherapy is medical aromatherapy plus many other aspects of aromatherapy. So what holistic means, it's looked at, the problem or the issue is looked at from many different angles. So it's not just about reducing a fever, it's about looking why there is a fever and how it happened in the first place. And so it's really looking at the whole. Holistic is not only body, it includes mind and spirit as well. Therefore, if you have a holistic aromatherapy treatment, there is many aspects to it. There is a massage, which touch is a basic need in a person. So that in itself, even without the oil, is a very powerful tool. Then there is the therapist and client relationship, which too is very important, because a client needs to feel safe. A client needs to feel that he can trust his therapist. And then there is the complexity of the issue. Whatever the issue might be, it is important that it is looked at it in a wide, in a wide angle. It's not just the issue is on this narrow road and that needs to be looked at and addressed. It really is looking at it from many ways. Why is something happening, and what triggered it to begin with, and what happened next. And it's just really important to look at the big picture. Again, holistic, body, mind, and spirit. Then there is the role of the olfactory. The olfactory is actually our smell. So, firstly, the olfactory is extremely has a very powerful influence on the central nervous system. It is the only system in our bodies whose receptor nerve endings, the nerve endings that recept, are actually in direct contact with the outside world. So what does that mean? That means if whatever comes our way, there is no filters in between that would stop it or analyze it or make it deal with it in a certain way. Whatever hits us in smell, it will actually go straight to our nervous system, and there's nothing we can do about it. Just as a small example, if you walk down the road and you smell freshly baked bread at the bakery, immediately your mouth might start watering, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's very direct. It has no other places to go. It goes straight to the nervous system. And knowing that is a really, really powerful tool. And with that in mind, aromatherapy can be applied to a client. It can be adjusted to the client to according to a client's needs, and it can really be of great assistance. It can then influence someone's mood. It can awaken emotions. It can counteract stress. It's been known to lower blood pressure just because of that impact it has. A typical holistic treatment at Advanced Essential Therapy, my clinic here, would be a client. It's definitely holistic. So if a client arrives, I sit down with the client and we'll talk on what's going on in their lives, what their problems are, and what they're aiming for, what they try to get out of an aromatherapy treatment. Mostly it involves a massage, which is a way of applying the essential oils. It is a way of relaxation and assisting for the client to, again, holistically in body, mind and spirit, to go to that place of balance and healing. What I also do, if someone has a specific problem, let's say someone has a skin problem, I make creams for them. I add the essential oils that would assist the healing of those problems, and they are then locally applied to the wound. I have actually got a case study that I have done a while ago, and it was of a client who he had a wound on his foot, and it didn't want to heal. He had it for about a year, and it would keep blistering, and the blisters would then break open, and it would be moist, and it would be pussy, and it would then slowly grow over again, but it would keep blistering. So it just never seemed, it seemed to be that cycle, and it didn't want to heal. So he came to me, and we talked about it, and I made a cream for him, which I asked him to apply I think it was about 3 times a day. This is the first photos I took when he came. This is how he presented itself. If you can see here, this was all blistered, and it would break open and then be all pussy, and it closed again, but it would also blister again. So it just did not want to heal. Then 10 days later, I asked the client to come back, and he had applied the oils, and his foot, it had changed a lot. The blisters had opened up, and it was just the raw skin. It was just the raw skin that was underneath, but it was dry, and the client told me that was different. It used to be not dry, it used to be all pussy and wet. So that seemed to be positive. I changed the ingredients of the cream slightly, and then asked him to apply the cream again. When he came back a few days later, not much, 8 days later, he showed me his foot, which then looked like that. And we were extremely pleased with the result. It seemed to be almost healed completely, and he was really pleased about it. There was no soreness to it, and he was very pleased with the results, and so was I, of course. And then he went, unfortunately he then had to leave the country. He went overseas, and I did not get a chance to see his foot again. He did, however, tell me that it all healed up, and it was all good, and it was all well. So that, even though I would have loved to see him again and see his foot and see how he progressed, what happened in that only not even a month, the extreme changes that happened to that wound really proved to me once again how powerful aromatherapy actually is. As a conclusion, aromatherapy, I believe, should be applied everywhere. it is such a beautiful, gentle and powerful tool to have for everybody. I think not only professionals like myself, but other people. You know, everyone should allow aromatherapy into their lives one way or another. They should allow this magic to just have a little bit of a positive impact, a little bit of a healing happening to them on a very holistic way, body, mind, and spirit. Even if it is just having an oil burner in the kitchen somewhere and burning the oil one really likes, that makes you happy, or burning a peppermint oil to awaken yourself, or clary sage to get a clear mind when you need to study, or lemon to feel crisp and clean. And there is so much power in those little bottles with essential oil that I believe they should really be in everyone's life.